Okay, hello, we're back. I accidentally deleted, not deleted. I accidentally stopped my recording, but it was just like the intro. So yeah, I had a whole fish sandwich. So, anyways, I'm showing this person because I want to, I want to tell y'all to go. I don't want to tell you to go follow him, but watch his little clip off videos. I've just found him while I was eating. I'm like, oh my god, it makes so much sense. This is part two, actually. I just got done watching part one. But yeah, this is who they are, Clip-Off Quest, and I'm actually intrigued to see their Clip-Off journey. I don't know if they stopped it or like they're still. When I mean stopped it, I don't know if they're still talking about it or not. So yeah, just want to say that. So I decided to get some ambiance in the mix. These two little videos. I don't know if I'm gonna play both of them or just one of them. But yeah. So let me see if I'm recording. Okay, we're recording. Hello. Yeah. Let me just give me a second because there is a little lag sometimes. Okay. But that video also inspired me to say more stuff too. I got a little sticky note right here. If I can see it. Right over it. Talk about what I need to keep me on track. So I want to say real quick, in my last videos, those are more like video diaries than anything. So actually, let me hold on. If I don't do it now, I'll forget. Or I'm afraid that I'll forget. Let me put those in my video diary section real quick. Okay. Brr. We're back. Like I said, I want to give ambiance. So we took care of business. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait for my close up. No, I need some chips today. No, but I want to talk about my last two videos real quick because I don't want y'all thinking. Well, first of all, those are just video diaries. So when I do video diaries, it's just me talking for the most part, right? Unfiltered, because I want to show y'all my raw, authentic how I am. Just when I don't have really sticky notes, I'm just talking. And these sticky notes are new, actually. I used to not have sticky notes. Well, I had them, but I never used them. Now I'm starting to use them. But yeah, um, real quick, I want to say that I understand tone and frequency. I understand I understand how I'm coming off versus what I'm saying sometimes, and I don't want people feeling like this is the only. I meant to put that bowl away. I don't want people feeling like going down this path means just having power. And I think I said this in the last video, but for me, power equals play. I am not doing this for the egotistical reason of I want power to have psychic warfare, to be the most powerful black magician, to just whatever I want, I can just take somebody's filter who's pretending not to be authentic and just make them be authentic regardless if they want to be authentic or not. I'm not doing this for no reason to abuse anyone. I'm doing this simply because power equals play. Play equals your birthright. That's what this means to me. And I made an example in my head. So boom, imagine you grow up in the hood, right? The projects. And in this projects, it's typically a lot of gang activity. It's run down. Nobody cares about coming to protect anybody in this neighborhood. The neighborhood isn't being funded, etc. Keep in mind, you're in this neighborhood, but you know you deserve more. You know you want more. You know who you are, right? So you go through your life, and then you get to a certain point in your life, and you're finally able to make it out of the hood. You get out of the hood, you get the nicest cars, you get the nicest house, you get the nicest clothes, you get things that you never had before, right? And it's not because consumerism. It's not because you feel like you're better than somebody. It's not because you're bougie in a negative sense, because bougie isn't bad. It's not all of a sudden you're bougie. All of a sudden you think you better than somebody. Who do you think you are? It's because I have the power, aka resources. Now I can finally play in the dream that I've always wanted to. And this is what this journey means for me. It doesn't mean gaining power just to gain power for the sake of power, to cause fucking psychic warfare. Ugh, I hate that word. This community has ruined that word for me. Sorry. And as a big old main YouTuber who no longer does the clip off shit anymore, talking about the occult ruined his life. Sir, you were in your ego. The occult didn't do nothing but amplify it. That's what Magick does, baby. I'm sorry. But now he just talks about trauma. I'm not gonna say who, but now he just talks about trauma a lot. And ever since he got into that argument with that one boy, they was never the same. They both, the clip off fucked them both up, okay? One completely left the clip off, and one ended up, after that traumatic situation, he was just spewing out his trauma. He stopped talking about occult stuff altogether. He spewed out so much unhealed trauma, he made his channel a trauma channel, which I thought that was funny. I guess that's a nice pivot. But there are so many people on here who are really lazy when it comes to doing this clip off stuff, the primeval path, and some who are so far up their ego, so far up their own ass, they can't smell their own shit. And if you want to do that, go ahead. I'm not here to tell you what to do or not to do. But for me, my journey, I'm telling you, this is what this means for me. I just want to be able to play in the dream the way I'm supposed to, because that is my birthright. I want my birth box back. If you watch The Magicians, I think it's season 5, where... No, it's season 4 or 5, where... I can't remember. Where Margot realized... Well, Margot was destined for her birth box. Her destiny. And that's how I feel like I'm going through the clip all too. Margot had to go on this long journey to be the High King, to reclaim her birth box. And she did. She did her shit. And she changed. Whoa. Whoa. She changed a lot. And it really made me sad. Sorry. Because I didn't even think about correlating to the Margot. But yeah, it's this show called The Magicians. You gotta watch it. My number 1 favorite show, right? One of them, anyway. And Margot went on this journey, and she came back even more than a high king. Sorry. Yeah, it's really tumultuous. If I keep talking about it, I'm actually cry. So yeah, crazy. Because I'm actually sit with that. I'm gonna sit with that. But yeah, so I just want to make that clear that this journey is highly personal, and it's my experience. I'm not saying this to prove to anyone this is the right or wrong anything. This goes beyond any duality. This is extremely personal. Okay? Okay. Now we got that out the way. Where did I put it? My little notey. Oh, it's right here. Put this away. So yeah. So the first thing I have in my notes is the clip off is not for everyone. And I know I spell clip off with 2 P's. Hey, I know you can spell it 2 different ways, but this is how I like to spell it. This is how my brain sees it, and this is how it sounds to me. So, like I said, this is my experience. But the clip off is not for everyone. And I guess I could talk about 2 things. The clip off is not for everyone, and my connection with the clip off, right? Because one will lead into the other. So the clip off is not for everyone. Period. Right? If the left-hand path on the tree of life is not for everyone, what should I title this video? I don't know. But if the left-hand path is not for everyone, if the right-hand path is not for everyone, if the middle path is not for everyone, then the clip off damn sure is not for anyone. You have to be forged, best way to put it, You have to be forged a very specific way to not only initiate into the clip off. Well, anybody can initiate into it. But when I say initiate, I'm talking about from the very beginning to the very end. When you initiate from the very beginning to the very end of the clip off, and you continue on down the clipothic path, because it's one thing about this journey, about all paths, is that it never ends. And that's one thing that I want y'all to understand. The clip off path doesn't end once you heal your trauma. And this is how I know who's really about it and who's really not. Two ways. When somebody can go through the clip off, the entire thing, and not lose themselves, but gain more of themselves back. What's one way? And when people can go through the clip offs and descend into the underworld, gain all their selves back, and then go back through the clip off again to regain their crown, their power, that's how I know. That's how I know they did it. I will say this real quick, that for me, this isn't a regular clip off journey. I'm not going to the clip off to heal trauma. I've told y'all this in my last video that I've already been done that. I've already been healing my trauma. And if you go past through my YouTube videos, I've also talked about that as well. But I spent 2 years. It was 2023 in August when I quit my McDonald's, when I was forced to quit my McDonald's job because my body no longer could move. Bad. So I went down the 2 year and 4 month journey of healing myself. And I told the cosmos, I told my guys, I told my family, I told everybody energetically that I don't want to be helped until I heal most of this myself first. And then when I did, the first person that met me was Ningish Zeta, aka Thoth. And then I started going down that path. And then that's when I slowly started allowing my cosmic family to help me, right? And like I made a video when I channeled angels, demons, fairies, and humans. I was also in the process of healing myself, allowing myself to channel and allowing myself to trust. That's why I've been channeling those past few months, and that's why I made that video, because I don't think I said it in that video, but I was allowing myself to be connected to my family. I was allowing myself to be sensitive. I was allowing myself to be vulnerable. I was allowing myself to be open, because channeling is one of the most vulnerable things you can ever do. Invoking is one of the most vulnerable things you can ever do, and I was trusting that, and they helped me, and they never left either. Ever since that day, even before then, but ever since that day, they've been more prominent. All these beings, not just Inferno, not just demons, but every being. You know what I mean? But I will say I'm naturally inclined to the underworld, to Infernal realm, those and monsters, those. That's usually my vibe. But yeah, these beings been helping me. Yeah. So when I say it's not for everyone, there's a video that I made on my YouTube channel called "Magic is Your Nature," something like that, girl. Um, where I talked about the nature of magic and how the reason why it doesn't work. Excuse me. And this applies to anything, regardless of which system you're using. The reason why it's not working is because it's not authentic to you. And if you want to do magic, you have to go based off your nature. And if you want to go down a spiritual path, you have to go based off your nature. Not everybody's nature calls for the left hand path. Not everybody's nature calls for the right hand path. Not everybody's nature calls for the middle path. Not everybody's nature calls for the clip off path, the underworld path. There are some people's nature who don't even fit any. There are some people's nature who don't fit at all in any of those areas. You see what I'm saying? Because every journey is specifically customized, catered towards you. Let me see if I'm recording. Is there audio? Audio? Okay. Sorry. Just want to make sure. But it's specifically designed for your nature, right? Not everybody's meant to go down the clip off. You have, and I differentiate the clip off versus the left hand path. The left hand path is not, and now I'm saying this, the left hand path is not the same as the clip off. You got to remember, the left hand path of the tree of life is the left hand path of the tree of life. It's not as dense, it's not as dark, it's not as deep as the tree of death, because it's still that's part of the tree of life, right? And not saying it's bad or it's wrong. It's just when it comes to that type of darkness, it's still it's edginess, not edginess in a bad way, but it's edginess, it's aesthetic, it's rebellion, but still more in an acceptable way. And that's 90% of people who do the clip off, and people who call the clip off the left hand path is just a little misunderstanding. The clip off is not the left hand path. The clip off is an entirely different path. And keep in mind, this is my experience, yes, but this is also my gnosis, what I channel, and my experience. You know what I mean? I'm not saying your experience is wrong, but I'm saying let's just. One thing that I've been told to get into more is etymology, right? Language of words, how you speak the words, etc. That's one thing I've been slowly getting into. Um, and it's like calling everything a demon, right? You see a cat, demon. You see a woman, demon. You see a child, demon. The sky is dark, demon. Somebody talks to their spirit guides, demon. That is equivalent to people saying that the clip off is the left hand path, right? Everybody think the left hand path is just edgy or just rebellious. No. The left hand path is something completely different than the path of the underworld, than the path of death, than the primeval path, than the void child path, right? Those are all the underworld path. The underworld path is different than the left hand path because it takes what the left hand path is and completely blows it out the water. Not because it's better or worse, it's because that's its nature, right? Everybody's nature is different. And each of our natures play into the next person natures because we're all an ecosystem. So I just want to say that. And secondly, when it comes to doing the primeval path, that's what I'm calling the tree of death path. I'll use the words tree of death, primeval, void child, tree of evil. I'll use those words in referring to the clip off. I'll also call the clip off the underworld path as well. So I just want to make that clear. So when working with the tree of death, the clip off, well, first off, working with the left hand path of the tree of life. If you do that, that's you. That's beautiful. I'm not saying that that's bad or wrong. I just want to make sure that we understand the difference between the two, because what I've noticed is it's dangerous when you don't clarify, because people think the left hand path is, a lot of people go into the left hand path still with some trauma, religious trauma, but aside from that, they go into it with aestheticism. Now, aestheticism isn't bad when you're authentic, but a lot of people are still trying to find themselves, so they're inauthentic, and to them, subconsciously, they're coming into this path, not the clip off, the left hand path of tree of life, and they'll have this ego, this rebellion. They think it's about ego, rebellion, power, just being dark for just being dark, aestheticism, etc., while being inauthentic. And that's not the tree of life. I mean, that's not the left hand path. The left hand path touches on darker themes, but within the light. You understand what I'm saying? Think of the left hand path as that little bit of darkness that's in the yin and yang symbol. We know what the yin and yang symbol is, right? The yin symbol is the white half of the circle, and it has a little bit of darkness in it. That's what I would equate to the left hand path. The left hand path is that little bit of darkness in the light, right? Still within the light. Whereas the clip off would be the yin energy entirely, right? But it still has that little bit of light in there because they're both are each other expressed differently. They can't escape each other or avoid each other, right? They're siblings, twins. Excuse me. Like I talked about Hakate, when I say pure imagination, I'm going to start referring to Hakate as well as source. Um yeah, but anyways, I was gonna say that. But yeah, so the yin of the yin and yang, that would be the clip off. That would be the tree of death. Because that's an entirely different ecosystem, an entirely different beast, an entirely different understanding, right? So I just want to make that clear that the left hand path is not the clip off. The left hand path is the left hand path of the tree of life. Because the left hand path of the tree of life touches on the rebellion, it touches on darker themes, but it touches on it within the light. It still remains in the light. And if you hear a lot of left hand path people, they would still refer to themselves as light beings, still refer to themselves as light. They're light. They're still connected to the light. They also do things that aren't super dark. You know what I mean? Whereas, and they still have a light body. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a light body. We all have a light body. I love my light body. This is no way negating any of this. But what I'm about to say is, I was sitting, and I guess this is my connection to the clip off. I guess I can say this also goes to how I got in it too. Because I think I said this in my last little clip off video diaries, but I was talking too fast, trying to rush everything. But for me, when I got into it because I was sitting in meditation. I had like, when you're on your spiritual journey, and it's like you get all this pressure build up, and it's like pressure, 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 until you finally just like, you like lash out. You had enough. So that's what happened to me. Um, I was sitting in meditation after meditating for like 4 or 5 days, and I said this in my last few videos about my clip off journey and what it means to me and stuff like that. Was my last 2 videos was I read y'all, and I'm intuitive, so and instinctive, so I don't look this stuff up. I just go based off how I feel. That's one thing that my family has taught me to do. My non-physical family, let's be clear, has taught me to do was just go based off your nature and trust your nature. So that's what I've been doing these past few months. In the past 4 days, I was sitting in meditation. I would say this is how I figured out chanting helped ground me. When I chant in my imagination or in my mind, I'm sorry. When I chant in my mind, even if it's just like 5 minutes, it helps ground me into my body and helps me to be in stillness for the most part. Um, Sometimes I don't need to be in stillness. Sometimes I channel. So yeah, that's one thing I've been learning and understanding with that as well. But anyways, um, chanting helps ground me. So, but randomly I started chanting, "I want to be a vampire." Randomly, y'all, I would chant, "I want to be a vampire," and I would chant, "I am a vampire. I am immortal. I am immortal. I am ageless." And I would chant stuff like that, and I would do that for like 4-ish days, and my facial hair stopped growing so fast because I was chanting that I was essentially chanting I have control over my biology, and I was telling my facial hair to stop growing. And when I tell y'all, it like reaches a certain point, then it stops growing. It doesn't even like, it would take within one day, I would get stubble, pretty obvious stubble. Within 2 days, it's a full facial hair, and it's itchy, it's bleeding, and it hurts. Yo, it's been 2 days, and and it's like I just shaved it yesterday. So, anyways, and I got other confirmations that this stuff worked. So, but that's irrelevant to what I'm talking about. Always pay attention to the synchronicities, to the confirmations. That's one thing I've learned. But yeah, so that happened. And fast forward about 3 days, Segment contacted me. Like I said in my last video, she came to me. Which I didn't even I never once, and this is how I know that you don't have to try too hard. These beings are here for you when you're ready. Because they're your family. But I didn't care about Segment like that. I'll be honest. I didn't give a fuck about Segment. I was like, okay, girl, we know about your little story. You was a little vampire. You was raw, Ming, girl. Not to downplay it, but it was like, okay, Segment, you all right, but you ain't the girl. And that's how I felt before she contacted me. So she contacted me during when I was meditating, and I kept hearing the words hemoglobin, hemoglobin, hemoglobin. Then I kept hearing the words segment, segment, segment. Keep in mind, I wasn't making the connection yet. I was very much stimming, um, and I was saying this stuff out loud too, and in my head at the same time. So, and then I heard, "I am your Latin roots," and then something dropped out of the sky and ran and scurried across my bed, girl. I thought it was a roach, but I didn't jump out the bed though. I just moved the blankets off because I'm like, I swear to God, if it's a roach, I'm killing it. Because we're not gonna do this, or a mouse, or whatever. I'm like, we're not gonna do this. So obviously, after that, I did research and found out hemoglobin is essentially blood, and it's the oxygen that attaches to the blood, which is amazing. And Segment was considered the first vampire, and I didn't know that. See, that's part of history I didn't know. And I didn't know people use Segment for healing. All I knew about Segment was before she contacted me, was that she killed humans. But also in the meditation, that led me to this. In that meditation, I was having a subconscious conversation with her. I don't remember who the person I was using as the analogy, but what I said was the reason why, what I was saying subconsciously, telepathically to her, because she was just seeing where I was at, testing me essentially, right? Not in a bad way, just it's more like, are you sure you're ready for this type of way? But what I was subconsciously talking to her about was, I said the reason why she spiraled was because she lost her humanity. And how everybody reflects everybody, right? We reflect the below is of the above, the above is of the below, right? Segment was not only just the eye of the sun, the activated force of the sun. Not only was Segment was a goddess, she wasn't just a goddess. She was also human. She's human because humanity, we reflect her humanity. Because Segment killed all those humans, she lost her humanity. Literally lost her humanity. She got drunk off of power, off of lust, off of desire, right? Those forces aren't bad. But when you aren't in control of your destiny, something or someone else will be, right? And we have heard all the stories about the gods. The gods aren't perfect. They had to learn their power. They had to learn their birthright. They had to learn what that means to them. They had to learn to be authentic too. And that's one thing I'm actually realizing now as I'm saying this, that these gods weren't perfect. They had they shit they had to do. We just didn't realize it because we idolized them. And see, that's the thing too. When you idolize something or someone, you have filters over and you can't see the true perspective. And that's one thing that I've learned too. I've been learning that like ever since like 4 or 6 months ago. Was I was slowly working on my idolization because I thought because the person was spiritual, they just knew more than me, that they were better than me. Not in an insecure way, but like in a childlike way where like, oh my God, you know how a child looks at a parent like, you know everything. When you get older, you realize they don't know shit. But yeah. But maturing is everything. Maturing is growth. But yeah, Segment was telling me she has to learn her power too. she destroyed the human side of her, which was humanity, out of pure bloodlust, right? And that could be a vampire's biggest threat to themselves is bloodlust, right? And it can be dangerous getting into the clip off when you're looking at it from just, oh, I want power. I want to harm my enemies. I want psychic warfare. I want to be the most powerful, blackest magician ever, black witch ever, dark witch ever, warlock. And it's not about that. And when you get into the clip off or any system or any spiritual path like that, it's not for you. It's not for you. When you aren't already grounded in yourself first, and you go into these systems with your ego distorted, with your ego completely overruling all your other senses, all your other intelligent bodies within inside your body. If your ego is overriding your heart, overriding your instincts, your intuition, your emotions, your intellect, your wisdom, if your ego is overriding all of that, and it's overriding your experiences, that's how you know your ego is distorted, and you need to ground yourself in your body and align your ego first, because when you don't, you end up becoming an egomaniac, and you realizing, and then a lot of people becoming fall deeper into psychosis. But how long is this video that I'm watching? What? How long is this? Okay, so hopefully I don't have to make this 2 episodes. This might be an hour and 30 minutes. It's gonna be probably pretty long. I'm not gonna cut it down. I just want to make it one big video. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna get in 2 parts. So when going into the clip off, what they were telling me segment was like, just be ready. You know what you want. And I also, it was like yesterday, 2 days ago, I got the song called 16. Well, not the song. There's a Disney Channel show called 16 Wishes. And I got that during a meditation when I was meditating. There's this a Disney Channel movie called 16 Wishes with Debbie Ryan. And she has she has 16 magic wish candles. And she makes wishes. And to sum it up, I gotta go back and actually watch it in detail, but I know the premise and the plot. But at the end of the story, she realized she didn't want any of that, right? Just like this other show called I think it's called 30 and Thriving, where this girl, I don't know if she's like 13 or 16, I can't remember. She's in her teens, and she wishes on her birthday to be 30, flirty, and thriving. And she does that, and she becomes that, and then she realized that that's not what she wanted either. So what they were telling me was, just be careful what you wish for, right? Pussycat dolls. So just be careful what you wish for. And as I've been going down this path, and that was like 4 days ago. Well, not 4 days ago. That was like 4 days in my little initiation, because I wasn't fully initiated yet. Oh, and I want to say this too. When I was talking about I was doing the clip off already, I was doing the clip off already. I wasn't initiated in the same way. Like, I didn't have to go through these spheres to do it. And what I mean by that is, I wasn't actively working with the clip off. I was going through experiences that resembled the clip off, right? So I called it my own personal clip off. So people can go through their own personal clip offs, because once I got out of that, and once I started getting into this clip off now, and I was just doing some research, the stuff that I was going through was the things in the clip off already, like exactly, like verbatim. So that's why I say I was going through the clip off without even knowing it. Yeah, you can't just stumble necessarily into the clip off. The reason why I was going through it without knowing it, and the reason why it wasn't an accident, is because my other lives. We all have they're not past lives, they're other lives on this earth and before the planet itself, right? Before we even had stars, girl. Okay? So I was going through that already. Like I was already attuned to the underworld, attuned to the darkness. I'm already connected to that by nature, by birthright. That's my authentic nature, right? And me knowing that, after I had that dream that I told you about, this happened this year. It was like early this year where I was, like, I think it was in March or April of 2025, where I was told that because I had this insane pressure, I was running around in my room, pacing around. I was like, why? And I kept saying out loud, when I channel, I speak out loud most of the time. But I was speaking out loud, why am I so dark? Why am I so dark? I'm obsessed with dark. Why am I so obsessed with the dark? And I realized, because during that time, I was obsessed with reptilians and their dark nature. And I'm a reptilian star seed. Well, I have reptilian in my DNA. And it's one of my dominant traits. That's why I put on muscle mass so fucking fast, and I hate it. I hate that shit. But it's not bad, but it's like, well, I guess I don't have to work out too hard, right? But I was getting into that, and then a day after, I had a dream where I was told that I'm of the underworld, and this literally, from that moment in March or April, all the way down into almost December, that's where I've been led to do. This entire time I've been being prepped to go to get to this point right here. And I find that very beautiful and amazing. But even before then, when I quit my job and I started to actually work through my trauma, that's when I actually was starting this path. I didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. And of course, we're human, so of course during those times I would like lash out, cry more, be angry, say I want my power back. Y'all stole my power. They did. They stole it. But yeah, so fast forward now, in segment was she was just telling me, am I sure I want this? And I said yes, I want this. I want this. I was like, I want my dark power. I want my dark magic. I want my dark codes. Give me my dark codes. And I was saying this is the pressure I was talking about. Like this pressure was building up during my meditation, and I was like, I want my dark codes. I was like, I understand. Like I wasn't negating light codes or the light. It's just when you grow up in a system where it's just light all the time. I call it light supremacy. Yes, light supremacy, white supremacy, light supremacy. Okay, patriarchy. I call it patriarchy, where I just hear light, 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 light. Like I would just hear that, and then got to the point where I was like, "Fuck that! I want my dark codes." And I was saying this intuitively, right, instinctually. I was like, "I want my dark codes. I want my dark matter. I want my dark truth." And over the course of, I would say, the next day or the next 2 days, because I said this after the day after, so I guess like my days are weird. I don't count days normally, so I did this after I connected with segment, because that night, because all that stuff happened during the morning where I connected to segment, but I also connected to segment at night again just to feel them and have that connection again, right, and to not forget them. So the next day, I was saying that I want my dark codes. Like, screw light codes. I get it. We need light, but where's the dark? Where's the dark? I would say this intuitively. And then I would say, I want my dark magic. I want my shadow alchemy. I want my dark truth. I want my power. And then that's when I had a vision. And I saw this gold being fly in front of the sun. This black, no, that's what I said. I said, I want my black sun. I want my shadow alchemy. I want my power. And this being, then I saw an image of the black sun, which I thought it was a black hole at first. It looked like a black hole to me. But I saw the image of the black sun, and it was radiating green. It was radiating rainbow light, like rays coming out of it. But the dominant color was green. I can see it vividly now, still in my imagination, and the being. I also could reconnect with that being too. I told him I want to still feel you, even if you're not directly. in my life, I still want to feel you. And I come to find out that being is you. It's me. It's a higher version of myself. But anyways, we'll get into that another time. But a little bit later. And more when I do more connecting with that being and more understanding with that being as well. But because there was some synchronicity with that being too that I talked about in my last clip off videos. My first two clip off videos. But this golden being flew up T-pose style with gold skin, but their skin looked like wrinkly paper. Like if you wadded up a bunch of paper and then you unfolded it and you see how the patterns looked in that, that's what it looked like. But it was like always shifting, like crinkling. So it had golden crinkly skin. It flew up in front of that sun, T-pose style, and it had black void eyes with a white mask on. And it just looked at me. And I made sure to just keep that contact as long as I could. And we didn't have to use verbal words. It knew I saw them, and I knew I saw them, and I knew they saw me. And that's what I made sure I locked contact on them. And I looked. I say that vision lasts for about 8 to 10 seconds. Well, 7 to 10 seconds, about around that time. And I was like, whoa. And then later that day, I was doing research on the clip off more. And this video came up. I found this one YouTuber that I like, so I followed him. And one of his comments, because keep in mind, before this, I thought the clip off was stupid. I thought the Tree of Life was stupid. And I said 2 years ago that I'm not doing this shit. This is not for me. Come to find out, I'm doing this shit, and it's for me. But anyways, this guy I found, we're about to change the aesthetics in a minute. This guy I found, because I'm about to head into the second half of it. Right, I talk a lot. This guy I found, he was in his comments of his Black Sun video. This comment out of nowhere, I've never seen comments like this before, and I don't go into the comments like that. And when I do, it's rare. And I'm only reading the first two comments because I can't. The comments actually be pissing me off a lot of times. So I'm like, I told myself don't do that. But I randomly, he had like about 3. I don't know if it was 3 or 6. I think he had just 6 comments. Randomly, I just went down there, and it was like the second comment was like, the Void Children. It's no coincidence. It was something like, there's no coincidence that the Void Children are waking up. Because, we're in the time of non-disclosure where the veil is starting to thin and thin more and more. We're going to start seeing more non-human beings, right? And keep in mind, when I first started this stuff, like, well, now it'll be like 8 days ago, where I was talking about, I was sitting in meditation saying I'm a vampire. During those times, I was also calling myself a void child. The void child. I want to be the void child. I'm the void child. And it was the second day. I want to say second or first day. No, it was the second day. Where I was like, I want to be a void child. I want my void child. I want to be a void child. And I saw an image of a child with tan skin, short black styled hair, with no shirt on. And I only saw the upper half. And beautiful black eyes, like non-human black eyes. They still had white around their eyes. They just had big eyes, and it was void. Like it was so pretty, y'all. They was actually really pretty, but wasn't scary at all. But they looked like a human essentially. I got that image, that vision, and it just stayed with me too, and I can still see it to this day. And I told y'all in my last videos that I got that vision, and then I got the phrase the order of the underworld. This was before I initiated into the clip off, and when I initiated into the clip off fully, y'all know I'm on Reddit. Well, I don't think I know this, but I'm on Reddit, and I got notifications on, and literally when I went to go look at my phone, this Reddit notification popped up and said the importance of magical initiation. So I went to the Reddit. Tell me why it was deleted. I don't even think it's still saved in my phone. I went to the Reddit because it had the title, The Importance of Magical Initiation. I go to it, the user deleted this post. The fuck? What you mean the user deleted? You just posted it, like it was literally 2 minutes ago. Like, goddamn. I've never seen a post delete that fast before, but it was deleted. And I was like, yeah, I'm on this path for a reason because this is my path. I'm supposed to be working with death. And before this, I was doing things where I was talking about time. When I said I was unsubscribing from light supremacy, and I said this in my last videos about the clip off too, but it's brief. So I unsubscribed from. I make videos about this specifically. I unsubscribed because it's more in depth, but I unsubscribed from light supremacy, from of course the false matrix, but time. I unsubscribed from age, and I unsubscribed from death. Meaning, I stopped looking at. Well, I've already been working with the idea of death, and I've changed my perception over the last 2 years and 4 months. But the last week, when I was meditating, talking about I want to be a vampire, I was literally sitting with the idea of death, and I'm like, wait a minute. And this is why I made a video about this actually that I'm going to post. Actually, I'll post after this one. Um, I post my videos in random orders. There are videos that I made like a month ago or a week ago that I've yet to upload. So I'm that type of person. So you get it when you get them. But that's my next video that I'm actually gonna upload, is talking about death and time and how they related and how I see things. But um yeah, death was literally death is my sister. And I literally was in the bed. It was happened like 4 days ago. I was in the bed crying about death, that death deserves love too. Oh my god, stop, bitch. Um because before I even started channeling that I'm a vampire and all this stuff, it was like a few days before that, I was also channeling the Aether. And the image that I got from the Aether was like, it looked dark with some like, sometimes I would see like maybe gold or like yellowish going through it, but it was usually just like a dark, kind of like shadow, but it didn't move like a shadow, if that makes sense. It was dark like a shadow, but you know how a shadow is more liquidy, it moves in like smoke. Aether is like a shadow that moves in a straight line, if that makes sense at all. It's shadowy. It's not like it's not a shadow. It's shadowy. Think of like a shadowy effect. Don't think of like the shadow itself. Think of like a shadowy effect. But imagine that shadowy effect being focused and being straight instead of like smoky, if that makes sense. But I'm still connecting obviously with Aether. I will be connecting with them again because I told the Aether that I love you. Aether talks to you, by the way. I don't know if people knew that, but that's the fifth element in the pentagram: fire, earth, water, air, Aether. Some people call it spirit, but it's life force. It is definitely life force. Um, but yeah, I was like, Aether, has anybody ever told you that they love you? They were like, mm-mm. I was like, okay. So I created an imaginary version of themselves, a physical body in my imagination, and it was, I can still see it now. So that's Aether to me. That's how I'm gonna see Aether. They're childish. They're like a little child. I love it. It's so cute. But yeah, that's how I was with death. I was crying, and when I was crying, I heard this voice. They always do this. They always cry. It was something like that. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down, bitch. I think I did. I don't know. Oh no, I did. I did. I'm kind of terrible at writing stuff down, so forgive me. But yeah. So obviously, a version of myself already came to this conclusion, but it was like death was, and how I see death now from that moment. We're sisters. We're forever sisters. But um, yeah, I kind of forgot where I was going. I hate when I talk and I forget. But let's change the scenery. Hold on, let's wait like 2 minutes. But death for me, sorry, that's ignore that. But yeah, I was subscribed from like I said. Oh, that's what I was saying. Death for me was true transformation, and I did a bunch of tarot readings, and I still got the cards over here. I pulled because I was asking about the underworld and what does this mean and what am I going through. I wrote it in my journal. One of the things that I got intuitively through my psychic abilities, through my clear this, what is it, intuitively, girl, just say intuitively. What I got intuitively was, what I heard in my mind was death of beginning, and I kept getting the word like death, and I got the tarot card, I got is it 6 of Swords and the 7 of Swords? The one where the person is tied up around a bunch of swords and they're blindfolded, and the next one where the person's on the ground with a bunch of swords in their back and there's an owl looking down on them. And I was told that I'm gonna see owls, so hey, ironic. And then I got the reversed hangman. And when I got to the Qlippotht, I had no idea that the Qlippotht was the hangman. But mine was reversed, which means that darkness, that prime evil, that void child nature will be my path of light. That's how I reconnect to my light, right? And the dark path, the darkest path, the primeval path, the void child path, the underworld path, the Qlippotht path is so much more than light. And when I was referring to it as light, I wasn't saying it's my actual light. I was saying it's my truth. The Qlippotht will become my tree of life, will become my tree of life, which means they will become one and they will be my authentic nature, because my authentic nature is the void, is the void child, right? And that's not negating any other parts of me, because remember, I have another video, I think it's my video diaries, talking about me being a chimera. I'm a chimera. That's the hybrid that I am, right? So I would never lose that. But being a void child and coming down here to Earth and live the Earth experience, the human experience, I have changed a lot on my soul. My soul has changed a lot. My perspective have changed a lot. Me have changed a lot. Because before I got to this point, I hated being human. I didn't want to be human. And I said, I'm never going to be immortal. And I said, I'm not staying in this realm. Now, fast forward to now, I'm immortal, I'm a vampire, I'm never leaving Earth, I love being physical, this is my realm, I'm gonna visit other realms, but this is one of my main realms. When I'm not leaving, and I will always be a human. So that's where I'm at. So, yeah, I won't lose my humanity, because now it's a crucial part of me. Just like the crystal gems in Steven Universe, how when they come to Earth, or the gems, when they come to Earth, something about them change. They become more human, more grounded, more different, right? If you watch Steven Universe, go watch it. Amazing show, one of my favorite shows ever. But that's how I am right now. And let's change sceneries. Ah, y'all hear that? Okay, because I still want y'all to be able to hear it. I love this fucking image. I'm sorry. I love demons, bro. I love demons. I love the Infernos. I love shadow beings. I love darkness. I love EVAL. I love Mama. I love Hakate. I love the underworld. I love monsters. This. Sorry. I love my family, y'all. I do. But now I can talk about. I'll say how I got into it. Okay, I guess I'm still talking about that. But what I've learned so far. Okay, what I've learned so far comes next, and Lilith. A little bit about Lilith, but what I've learned so far. Wait, how I got into it? So I got into, like I said. So after all that stuff, I ended up channeling. I guess you can go back to what I'm about to say now. I ended up channeling Lilith. I'm trying to see if I forgot something. Oh, real quick. So going back to that gold being that I talked about, where I saw my black sun. There was a day before. Well, the hours, but yeah, hours before that, I was practicing my magic. Right. I was trying to really feel the energy between my hands, because lately I've been working with telekinesis, my seeing abilities, and just working with building that energy within my hands, my magic energy, and working on my imagination. Right. So I was doing that. And like I told y'all, my last Clipbox videos, what I saw was it wasn't in my hand. I was standing up and I was just playing with. I was just playing. I forgot what I was doing, but I was doing something. And I saw this energy in my imagination swirling around me above my head, and it was shadow, but it wasn't just shadow energy. It was like a rainbow fire surrounded by shadow. But the dominant color in that fire was green. So it was mostly green with other colors in there, and it was swirling around in my room, and that color was shrouded in shadow. So and I was like, "Oh, I see it. I see it." I have an imagination that isn't filtered. So I can imagine anything. Um I guess you could say I have a child's imagination. So that's the best way to put it. Um, so I saw it, but I didn't think nothing of it. And I said it out loud, my magic, I see it. And I was just saying shit. And I say a lot of shit and don't realize that I'm channeling until after the fact. Because I talk out loud every second of every day. I'm always talking out loud. It's also why I love being alone. But when I meditated, I saw that vision of that being. That's when I said I wanted my dark power. I wanted my dark codes. I wanted my. Now I was saying my dark codes before that, but like a day before that. But I was like, I want my shadow alchemy. I want my dark power. I want my void child nature. I want my power back. I want my alchemy. I want everything. And that's when I saw that being, and it had that sun, that black sun, radiating that rainbow light, but predominantly green. I'm like, oh shit. But and of course that day I channeled that being in my body to reconnect again, to establish that connection. But later that the next day I channeled Lilith. I channeled Lilith. I don't know. I do this shit during the day and night, so I kind of mix up like the time. So, but they be in the same day. So I channel twice a day. Essentially, I was channeling twice a day, and technically more. But no, no, no. It was Lilith first. That being was the next day. That's what it was. I channeled Lilith first, and then I channeled that being the next day. So I channeled Lilith the day before that. Before I channeled that being and established that connection, I was like, okay, Lilith, I am ready. I am ready. So I was channeling. And one thing that I learned is that a lot of us, we already have connections to these beings. Now, some of us have to establish that connection because it is what it is. But just why it's important to know who you're connected with on the other side. But the only way you can do that is by knowing yourself. And by knowing yourself, you have to clear out the baggage. You know what I'm saying? You gotta clear out the kitchen, make room. You gotta make room for the extra food in the fridge. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying. Shadow alchemy, okay? Shadow alchemy will save your life. Literally, it saves my life. But I was channeling my sister, right? Because there's this video that I have on my YouTube channel called "The Time I Channeled 9 Beings." Let me see if I'm recording. Hello, hello. Hold on. Okay, we're back. We are back, aren't we? Okay. I had to give it a few seconds because we have lag and sometimes the audio gets clipped a little bit. Okay, hold on. Ah. Oh, I spilled water on my PP. Um. So yeah, I channeled my sister Lilith, but like I said, there was a YouTube video about the time I channeled 9 beings, and Lilith was one of them. Um. So yeah, and I talked about how Lilith, when I channeled her, I didn't channel her Beelzebub and Source or Pure Imagination. And I'm gonna start calling Source Pure Imagination, Pure Light Imagination, because there is a difference between Source and Hecate. Hecate is pure dark imagination. Source is pure light imagination. Now I think I'm gonna make a video about that. later. But I talked about Hate in my last Clipbox video. If you go to my Hekate playlist, being her keys or being her key, I talked about that. I talked about her the last 13 minutes of that video. So go watch that video where I talked about Hekate, and I think I'm post that on TikTok. But and Source is pure light imagination. Hekate is pure dark imagination. Both they are literally the yin and yang symbol, by the way. Um yeah. So Lilith is I'm connect I have the infernals, the underworlds, the dark beings, all dark beings. Well, I have a lot of family, but the underworld beings, the dark beings, monsters are naturally connected to me. I'm naturally connected to them, right? And has to do with past Earth. Well, this has to do with other Earth lives and lives outside of this universe in general. So keep that in mind, y'all. We've existed far longer than we realize. But anyway, um, we're limitless. That's the best way to put it. We're limitless. We're timeless. We time doesn't even exist to us, for real. We just think it does. But anyways, because time is in mind. But anyways, another video. What I'm saying is, I contacted my sister, Lilith, and she came through instantly, right? And she came through. Oh, that's what I want to say. If you're called to do rituals to connect, do that. If you're not called to do rituals, do that. Because I wasn't called to do a ritual. That's another reason why I didn't want to do the cloth either. Because I'm like, I don't want to have to do a ritual every fucking day to connect. Because one, I feel like it's so unnecessary. And two, I don't have some of those resources to be connecting. Right now, we have no income coming in. So I'm not going to sit up here and try to scramble for resources. But then I realize you are the magic. As long as you're, that's why it's so much easier to be authentic, because they're listening. They're always listening because we're all connected. But, and yes, they have seen you naked. Get over it. Just saying. I like it. I told them, you can look at me naked. I don't care. Yeah. Yeah, so I've connected to my sister. And I was sitting in meditation. Oh yeah, the first time I did her though, those months ago, in that one video, the time I channeled 9 beings, she came through, and I said the first thing that I said was, "Oh, you're a girly pop." She came in, she possessed me, right? Only she possessed me, and she was so sassy. She was like, and she had my hands like this, and she was doing a ritual with my body, like I was allowing her to do rituals with my body, and she was obviously unlocking something and attuning something, and all I could do was just laugh. I'm like, "Oh, girl, you're just a girly pop, aren't you, sister?" But yeah, fast forward now, she's so chill. Can I just say, Lilith is like, I'll probably say the chillest mother effer that I've ever encountered. At least one of the chillest. I'll say Cersei is also really chill too. Chill as fuck. I haven't challenged her again since like 6 months ago, since 8 months ago, whatever. But I am going to channel her soon because I feel called to channel her. But also, I am going to channel Morgana Le Fay again too. Those are some of the people that I channeled in that video. Go watch it. The time I channeled 9 beings. That's not to overly promote or nothing, but yeah, we're about 20 minutes left, I'll say. Probably a little less. But I channeled Lilith, and like I said in that my last clip off videos, now I already have a form that kind of looks like this already, very very close. But when I channeled her, a few minutes in, I saw my eye start to change to more like vampiric, and it would be like a magenta or a pink color or a hot pink color, and then my hair color would change to like a pink too. And then I would have like this very cute. I think I had like a ponytail, a curly like magenta no, it was a curly like either pink or hot pink hair, maybe soft princess pink. I don't know. It was a pink hair. It was like I'm getting multiple images now, but it was like a bright. It was like a pink hair, and it was like a curly, and it was like in a ponytail, and I had like this kind of like corset fit on. Um, so that's what I saw, and then I would see the room change. But keep in mind, my eyes are closed. I'm not seeing this with my physical eyes. I'm seeing this with like my imagination, with my soul. It's like my soul can see it, but I physically can't because I can see the outline of everything there. Think of like a dark brown silhouette almost. I say dark brown because that's what it was kind of like. I can see the shapes of stuff, but I couldn't see the room itself. That's what I'm trying to say. But like, and I kind of saw pillars and stuff too. I was in a room. I was in a room, and I know I was in a room because I felt it. I felt being in like a specific bedroom like space, and I could see like the ground without seeing it. You know what I mean? So I could see the room, and I was sitting that. Keep in mind, I just wanted to challenge her. I didn't want to challenge her for like hours necessarily, like I normally would have done, because I want to just channel her for a little bit just to connect. So that way, when I go to sleep, she's there. You know what I mean? So when I challenged her, I was challenging her sitting up, and I challenged her. She showed me that pink form of her, and I had fangs and stuff, and then it washed over. I said it felt like imagine melted chocolate washing over your screen, and she was super dark. She looked kind of similar to that first pink form, but imagine that as in a very dark purple version of that pink form. And everything was darker. The room was darker. Everything was darker. Her eyes was darker and stuff like that. It was like she was a little more aggressive, but not aggressive as in like, oh, I'm aggressive like a man. No, she was like motherly aggressive. It felt like the pink form was her more free form, flowy, childlike, fairy like, you know what I mean, form. It's very airy. That pink form is very like girly pop. Very airy. She about her shit, but she a princess. The other form was like, I'm a mother of dragons, a mother of demons type of vibe. Does that make sense? So those are the vibes that I was getting from those two forms. And then I told her, all I could do was laugh. Just laugh because I was happy to talk to her, happy to be connected again. And I told her that I don't want to lose this connection again. I don't want to forget you again. I always want to remember you. Please don't ever leave again. I'm sorry that I forgot you. Me being human, right? So yeah, I have laid down and I told her, I don't want you to leave. Don't leave. I want you to still stay with me as I drift off into sleep. So she did. And that's one of the reason why I couldn't go to sleep right away was because her energy. But eventually I was able to go to sleep. And like about, I'll say 10 minutes before that, she shot something down my spine. And I know it was like a pressure going down my spine. And all I could do was jerk my body up. And then I was like, huh. I shivered a little bit. And then like a few moments after, I started moving like a snake, but not side to side, but back and forth. Like going forward and backwards, moving like a snake. And I want to say something else happened, but I really can't remember. Then I was feeling more energy in my like body, but then I started drifting off into sleep, whatever. So yeah, um, that's what I got on that. And of course, I had some dreams. What I've learned, and this goes back into what I've learned so far, was that the clip off is highly personal to you. And I didn't know the way people talked about the clip off, they made it seem like you had to astral project. You were astral projecting all the time to go to these places, and that's not it at all. Most of the time, it's dreams. You get it through dreams, and you have to act out what you've learned. You sit with what you learned, and then let's say in this last dream that I had, right, where I went to sleep, I wasn't even trying to go to sleep either. And I hate when I do that, because when I don't try to go to sleep, I don't remember it the way that I want to remember, or how much I want to remember, because I didn't set the intention to do it. But regardless, I still remember pieces of it, where I was in this magician's robe. It was me and two other people. We were essentially learning about the layers of darkness, light, chaos, right? We was learning about that. And we was in like this cave place. I think it was like the underworld, or it was symbolic of the underworld. But the sky was kind of like a reddish. It was actually, the place was pretty. It was like a garden. It was like a cave system. But in this specific cave system, it was like a garden. Or not a garden, but like it was like open land where it had grass. It had very beautiful green grass. Um and it had like cliffs that you can walk down, and at the very bottom was the lowest level. And I called that my room. I was laying on my back. I was like, this is my space right here. And I liked that space because it was closer to the underworld. That's why I liked that space. And there was different layers. It was like a very bottom layer, a medium layer, and a top layer, right? And the top layer, it was connected to a bunch of other cave systems. I gotta write this down because I gotta sit with this. But I just realized that I haven't wrote this dream down yet. I'm just not telling y'all this, so it's on record. So if I forget, there were other cave systems connecting to this one specific room, this one specific cave room, and it was pretty. It was cute. It was cute. Very spacious. But it was me and two other people, and one was like, I guess, talking about like light, and one was more the darker one, and I guess I was the chaos one. But we were being told that we were being told about death and destruction, and something about light, how the darkness and the light. Like I said, I have to go back and sit with that and meditate on this, because I didn't intentionally prepare for this dream, so I don't remember too much. But I'm gonna see if I can be allowed to have that dream again, or something similar to it, to understand what you're trying to tell me. Now, I'm gonna ask Lila tonight, my sister, when I go to bed. But yeah. So we was having that dream, and we were learning about primordial forces. And this person that I was talking to, teacher, we were all wearing magician clothes, and I was telling them, because they wanted to get into the primeval stuff too, not the primeval stuff, but they wanted to get into, because we were being told that it, it was something like they were telling us about primordial power and how that relates to our what we're doing or something like that. Like I said, I gotta go back. I don't remember details, but I was talking to this person about primordial power, and for me, chaos is my primordial power. But this person, I was letting them know like anything can be primordial, because they didn't fully understand like, so like, is light primordial? Can I be like, is chaos? So what? Should I do chaos? Something like that. And I was trying to let them know, like, don't be me, be you, be your nature. For me, chaos is my core. If light is your core or darkness is your core, then be that. Because I was telling them, you do realize there are other forces out there that are primordial. Chaos isn't the only primordial force. You got darkness, you got light, death, time, even. I would say time, space. Um, I don't know about Aether. I guess Aether too, technically, when you think about it. Because Aether is in every layer of every realm. But so Aether, fire, water, earth, air, those are primordial forces too. So I was telling them that. And yeah. So that was the dream that I had. Like I said, I'm going to try to connect with that dream again tonight, and connect with Lilith tonight, and see during meditation what does this mean. Here's another thing that I learned about the QLIPPOTH too. And not only is it extremely personal to you, and a lot of it is dreams, breaking down your dreams, because your dreams are specific to you. And not only that, waking after you wake up from those sleep dreams, I like to call them, those nighttime dreams, you have to not only meditate, but ponder and contemplate what that could have mean, and actively do that. You know what I mean? Actively do that, and write down notes, write down connections, do oracle, do some tarot, do some divination. That helps too. That helped me a lot. It helps ground me a lot. when I do divination. Um, yeah, it's not necessarily the ritual itself. It's the act of, do I want to embody this path or not? And this applies to everything, by the way. But what I've noticed that with the clip off a lot, this applies a lot to the clip off. Heavy. And it's a lot about reflection, contemplation, um, just really sitting with everything in meditation, in silence, in peace, whenever you can, wherever you can, and don't force it necessarily because it will come to you. Trust me, it'll come to you. Just know that you're being active with it, and what you need and what you want will come to you. And because I also had this dream, in this dream, I was, I dropped my phone in the toilet and I was afraid that it wouldn't come back on because I've had dropped my phone in the toilet before. And I the fear comes from because I dropped it in the it wasn't that I dropped it in the toilet. It was like, if I drop it in the toilet again, will it work? Because I remember when I dropped it in the toilet the first time in the theaters and I gotta go get it fixed. It worked. It still worked. The second after I dropped it in the toilet, it still worked. But I went to go get it fixed the next day, and I hate phone repair companies that do this, where like they get the phone fixed. They can fix it. They can fix it all in one go. But they try to charge you. So like, let's say they charge me $300 to get it fixed the first time. Okay. Then they want to charge you $300 because of some bullshit shit they want to make up. When they explain it, it don't make sense because you could have fixed all of that within the same thing. Clearly, my phone isn't absolutely dead. It just has water damage. Like, what? And you said the first time that you can fix the whole thing. All of a sudden now you can't fix it. This is why I don't trust them. But there are some places that are good. But yeah, just wait. I'm gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna get a whole new phone because I want two phones. But yeah. In this dream, it fell in the toilet, and I was worried that it didn't work. But then I pulled it out. It worked. So I'm still sitting with that. I just had that dream I just had as well. Had them in the same day. I think that was a fear of letting go. Some type of control, but at the same time, realizing that I have the control. You know what I mean? I don't have to fear anything. I don't have to. Nothing lost is truly ever lost anyway. And if I didn't want it to be gone, it doesn't have to be gone. I don't have to live by somebody's morals. I don't have to live by morals at all. I just have to live by my authentic truth. So that's what I'm learning too. Um, Also, I think that's what the dream was telling me. But because also there was some like sexual themes in there with some people. Because I never really had sex. I'm a virgin. I'm sorry. So like, I have to be comfortable. Well, no, that's what I've been doing these past few months, working with my demon family and stuff, is being accepting my body and accepting sex. You know what I mean? I sucked dick for the first time in a dream. I'm sorry, that's TMI, but that was also me reclaiming my power. Oh my god, this all happened a week before I contacted my sister Lilith. But Lilith has always been here, though, working with me because I've been working with the Infernals with my sexual power anyway. So I just haven't worked with anybody specific. I'll just call them all in that's connected to me. But I make sure to set up a certain channel to where like only they can come in. I only call my infernal family. That's what I do every time. Anybody else is not allowed. Or if you're not of unconditional love, you cannot come to this channel. That's what I put. But so yeah, your family will work through you in front of your face and behind the scenes. So I didn't realize that now. But so I was working with my sexual power. But anyways, this dream was the first time I ever really had like a sexual dream where I was like aware of it. It wasn't really sexual. It was just somebody being naked, essentially, having sex, right? But it was just about more so me being like, okay, finally accepting it on all levels, right? In my body, of course. And loving all forms of sex, by the way. Because sex is beautiful. But there's another video that I'm going to talk about sex magic and stuff. My journey with sex magic. But I'm almost done. Yeah, so what else? Oh, Lilith is the daughter of Hecate. And going back into my last videos where I talked about Hecate, my last clip off video. Um, It's in my Hecate playlist, Being Her Key, where I talked about Hecate and how Hecate is pure dark imagination, and how Source is pure light imagination, and how they're twins. And the reason why Hecate was the first dragon, because she was the first dragon. She was the first dragon. And all those dark beings, regardless if they're a goddess or not, came from her pussy. They came from her womb. You know what I'm saying? And this is why some people, that she would be the wife to Source. Does that make sense in the Bible? She is the wife to Source in the Bible, right? That was cut out, by the way. But because we always knew that Source had a wife, metaphorically, anyway. But it was cut out like everything else is in the Bible. But she, like I said, she represents what will grow in the darkness, and Source represents what can be created in the light. So they're both literally the yin and the yang. And just like how Source has some darkness in him, Source created dark beings too, such as Belial, such as there are a lot of angels that went to the underworld, right? Those beings. Those are good examples. And Mommy, Hecate, she created light beings too, right? She created light goddesses like Eve. She created Eve, right? Um she created the light feminine as well as the dark feminine. She's mostly dark, yes, but she has light in her too, just like how Source has dark in them too. They are literally the yin and the yang, y'all. And Lilith, what I'm learning is, this is just my little gnosis now that I'm getting, is that she is the daughter of Hecate. Obviously, she falls in that line. That's her mother. That's our mother, right? Our sister's mother. And she's a dragon too. Lilith is a dragon. She's a serpent. She's a vampire. She's not. She's a witch. She's a sister. Even though she has all those titles, they still don't define her. And this is what we have to understand. With all these titles we have, they still don't define us. They help anchor in a truth. But remember, even Lilith goes beyond her own name. So yeah, just want to say that. So yeah, that's so far what I've got. Lilith is a girly pop. She's for the girls and the girls. Now, if you're the girl, she's for the girls. One thing I also learned is that Lilith is very queer. She's very queer, and she loves queer people. So I just want to say that she's my sister, and I love her, and I'll do anything for her. I'll have a baby for her. If she wants that, I'll do it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I wouldn't even second guess that. Okay, what kind of baby you want? Woohoo! Who baby is it? Okay, come on. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say. As long as fucking, it's an hour and 30 fucking minutes already. 31, 32 minutes. But yeah, this is my little journey. This is my gnosis, and I'm glad to talk about this here. This is literally the first official episode of me getting down this path. I hope I didn't leave anything out of talking about my path and my journey. And this is where I am now. Now, I might come back next month. Who knows? But I definitely will talk about this journey on this channel and what I've learned so far. So I'm in the first sphere. Lilith. They say Nama, but Lilith. I access Lilith during this. I'm the first sphere. And another thing I learned too is like, you're not going to necessarily see the spheres themselves. You're going to experience the current of what that sphere entails. So if the first sphere is about balance, you will receive dreams talking about what you need to balance, etc. And also, the clip off is not husk, they're not shells, right? And I get why people think that, but what I got from my download, what I divined, was that these are not husks. And I never felt like they were. That's why I didn't like the clip off either, because I hated how people talked about it. I'm like, this doesn't even sound right. This sounds like white supremacy. This sounds like patriarchy. Why does the darkness always have to be broken? That makes no sense. And the feminine is the dark element, by the way. Literally. So think about it. It goes far deeper than... Anyways. No more light supremacy. No white supremacy. No patriarchy. Period. Over here. So, clock it. But so I channeled essentially, right? I was given this information. It channeled. I was given this information that the Qlippotht aren't husk. Our ancestors didn't use them for husk. They didn't even call them trauma. They called it descending. And there's an episode in American Horror Story Coven, where the girls have to descend to the underworld to regain their power. That's essentially what's happening. What happened? That's what happens when you go through the Qlippotht. You descend to gain the parts that you've misplaced, lost, or hid away to become whole again, right? And the second part of the Qlippotht is, now that I'm whole, now it's time to regain my power back. You regained yourself back. You regained your foundation. Now it's time to regain your power. And that's the second half of the Qlippotht. They were called overpours. So imagine when creation decided to put darkness into this world, essentially. When creation, when pure light imagination and pure dark imagination, you can say too. When pure imagination decided to create things, it created too much of the things. Think of like thinking of having a clear empty glass, and you pour water into it. You pour so much water into it, it makes an entire ocean. That shit has to go somewhere. That's the primeval force, the primeval space. That's the void. That's the femina, the dark femina. That's the place where it holds. I mean, the feminine energy holds things. Do we not know that? So it needed a place to be held, and that's the Qlippotht. That's the underworld. That's the infernal realms. That's the primordial mother, the primeval mother, the void, the truest dream, the truest imagination. You understand what I'm saying? And sorry, but yeah, they're called overshells, or it's what was not left because it was broken. That's what's left because it was too much to be put inside the matrix. All that power was too much to put inside the dream. The dream was already made, and it was already made perfectly. We had a lot of excess force, a lot of excess power, a lot of excess energy that had to go somewhere. And what's the only place that can contain all that power? The darkness, the femina. All right, the underworld, if you will. It just takes and it holds all that, which it holds. The underworld holds, the feminine holds that which cannot be held by the light. The light doesn't hold anything. We know how the light principle. Let me slow down. We know how the principle of light works. It expresses, it expands, it pushes out. It doesn't hold anything. The femina holds, it magnetizes, it pulls in, it carries. That's how it works. That's the nature of everything, right? And no, I'm not talking about boy or girl. I'm talking about the energy, the principle of femina and masculine. That forces everywhere, right? And it's not about dick or pussy, and I want y'all to understand that. The fuck? But I really want to talk about that too, because I just really didn't like how people were talking about the Qlippotht, because the Qlippotht isn't husk. It isn't what's broken. Just think about that logic. It's broken. It's husk. It's trauma. All those negative feelings. And when you wonder why a lot of people don't finish the Qlippotht, it's because the idea they have it is distorted already. On top of the fact that if the Qlippotht is feminine, think about the system of patriarchy we're living in. We're living in a patriarchal system. So of course, the feminine is broken, distorted. It couldn't handle all the light. You do realize people start off with the vagina first, and then over time, their body decides if it should be a penis or a vagina, or a man or vagina. You realize a penis is just a vagina, right? That wiggles. Look it up. But I just want to say that. Okay? We all are androgynous. We all are femina. And we can't forget that. And one thing I learned too real quick was that there are microaggressions upon the microaggressions. So if you had trauma that you worked with when it comes to religion, that trauma still, you might have healed a lot of that trauma, but there still might be other parts of you that are connected to that trauma, such as light is better or light is safe, light is God, light is pure, the darkness is bad, the darkness is evil. If you still operate off that, you still have trauma, and that's a microaggression within the microaggression. You understand what I'm saying? And then after you heal that trauma, you still might think, oh, be careful though. The darkness will kill you. The darkness is gonna kill you. That's a microaggression that you still gotta work through, right? The darkness isn't bad or good. Nothing is bad or good. I'm sorry, it's not. It just is what it is. But yeah. So that's all I want to say. Um, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all understood me. And this is where I'm at. It's a long ass video, I know, but this is where I'm at on this fucking journey. Hey Amrit, and yeah, I just want y'all to know that I love y'all. We're 130 minutes. Okay, not bad. That this is my journey, and I hope y'all enjoy this journey with me because it's very personal. As you can tell, my relationship with these beings they go beyond ritual, right? We're family, and that's how you really should look at them. Because these beings, everybody is an archetype of somebody. At the same time, we're all literal. Just because humans are an archetype doesn't make us any less human, any less real. Just because demons, angels, dragons, fairies, trees, Mother Nature is an archetype doesn't make them any less real, right? Uh, but yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. Bye. I literally forgot to add this part. I don't think I did. Going back to the clip off real quick. You literally have to be. Oh, I said this before, but I don't think I really emphasized it. You have to be forged for the clip off. The clip off, you got, put it this way. Like I said before, the left hand path, a tree of life that most people are on, not the clip off, they're on the left hand path of the tree of life. Most people that are on that path are already doing taboo stuff. What society deems taboo. They're already doing stuff that a lot of people really don't want to do. So let's put it in percentages. Let's say 100 people are on the right hand path. And let's say we have 50% of people that are on the middle path. There will be 30 people on the left hand path. You see how it gets smaller and smaller, right? And for the clip off, you have about 10% of people on the actual clip off path. That doesn't make it worse, doesn't make it better. Everybody, I said batter. Everybody, I was thinking of cake batter. Everybody is on the path they're supposed to be on. No path is better than the last or the next. Y'all gotta remember that. No path is better. Sorry, I'm looking at myself. No path is better than the next. If your soul authentically calls to the clip off, do it. If it calls to the right hand path, do it. If it calls to the middle path, do it. If it calls to the left hand path, do it. Period. Go based off your authentic nature, not off somebody else. Because I'm sick of seeing comments like, I want to do it. Oh, how do I become evil? Or like, I want power. I'm powerful. And it's like these, and I read energy. I can feel energy through the phone. And stop. A lot of people are in their ego. And like I said, I follow people who did the clip off. They know where to be found. Girl, they gone. They're gone. They're gone. Lost it in trauma, girl, and psychosis. But I know there are real people that done the clip off, but they don't speak about it on the internet. So these people are probably like very well private, very hidden. But I want to be, this is my platform, like this is what I want to do. I want to bring light to the clip off. And I never knew this was my path, by the way. It took me years to get here. But if I'm the first person to talk about the clip off journey where I'm not doing a clip off, if I'm the first person to talk about the clip off the way that I'm talking about it, then so be it. And what I mean by that is I am talking about the clip off, not when it comes to me and the clip off, I am not talking about it to collect your trauma. I'm not talking about it to become whole. I've done that. I'm talking about it Now it's time to reclaim my birth box. Now it's time to reclaim my power. Not power in an egotistical sense, to dominate, to warfare, to be powerful. My power is in my birthright. My power is in my play. This is my nature, right? I want to be whole in the truest sense. Because, and this is no shade to nobody else at all, but the people that talk about the clip off are only talking about gaining psychological power, which this is half. Now this is accurate. This is half what I'm about to say. They only talk about it in gaining mental power, psychic power, being more sensitive. Perfect. Love that for them. But for me, that wasn't enough. I got that. That's half of what I've been doing. It's half of what I am. I already done that. I want the other half where I have actual power, where I can literally warp reality, where I don't need a candle. I don't need a lighter to light my candles. Snap my fingers, the candles are lit. I can easily do a banishing spell with a clap of my hands. I can do telekinesis, telepathy, astral project, like real active power. I want power to where like, oh no, you're a physical. What the fuck is going on? This camera's fucking pissing me off. Fuck it. Well, you're an actual real, you're a real witch type vibe. I don't want to just be a folklore magician, a folklore witch. I want to wield power like Wanda did, like the Scarlet Witch. Okay, but yeah, no, I'm talking about the clip off from that point because I don't want y'all to get confused and thinking I didn't heal myself. No, I've done that off camera. I didn't know that's what I was going to. I didn't know I was going to be led to do this, but that's what I was working with those 2 years and 4 months. This happened a week ago, literally within like 8 days ago from this point, okay, of me, the process of getting to the clip off. And it was only like 4 days in when I finally decided, when I realized, wait a minute, I think I am going to the clip off the path. Because I would get thoughts of the clip off, but I was like, I never looked it up until like 4 days in. So I'm about to get off because I'm going to get pissed off. Um, but yeah, I'm not doing the clip off to reclaim any power. I mean, any soul shards. I'm here to descend into the darkness, into the underworld, to reclaim my power. And that's another thing that I learned with Lilith is I was sitting with myself. I was like, Lilith isn't just sex. She's reclamation. She's the phrase, I reclaim my power. I reclaim my power at all costs. I reclaim my power and I don't give a fuck who don't like it. I told Lilith, I don't care what your story is. I stand beside you 10 toes down, girl. Look, what is it? Fair is what is it? All is fair in the arts of love and war. Clock it, okay? Sorry, but yeah, I love Lilith. She's my sister, and she's about reclaiming power. And that's one thing that I've been doing in my dreams is like getting in the process of reclaiming power. I will say, I'm on day 8, day 9 of my telekinesis. It was the other day. I really wasn't doing telekinesis the other day. I was just playing with it. But the leaves outside, I was standing like right here in this spot, like right behind this chair, and I was using my telekinesis to move the leaves, and it was moving. I did that for like 15 minutes, but it was moving, y'all. It was doing good because 7 days, well, 8 days before that, I was also doing telekinesis too, but I was just doing a side wheel and just doing like small other stuff. But I was just switching it up this time, seeing because today I gotta do that for longer this time. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I love y'all. Now we're done. We're done. Bye.